So when it comes to kids in
How do
Hollywood, I mean, this
wayside
has
differ?
been a disastrous mix for pretty much the entirety of entertainment. I mean, going all the way back to the Shirley Temple days. There's always been the major issue of children being exploited, being abused, taken advantage of. It's been a pretty big issue that Hollywood and the entertainment industry has. I mean, I guess you could say they have tried to address it to pretty much no success. I mean, that Quiet on the Set documentary came out last year, and people thought that when that came out, like, oh, there's going to be like a big push for like some type of reform in Hollywood or like some type of really rigorous type of laws and legal system in place to like protect children. And doesn't really seem like it. I mean, also, like, it just seems like children being in Hollywood and just having that type of fame from a young age is just not good for them. I mean, you could argue that that much fame and fortune and wealth and admiration, no matter how old you are. I mean, we've seen how many countless adults have we seen crash and burn and, in a lot of cases die because they couldn't, the fame just overtook them. They started, fucking doing drugs, alcohol, like all the worst vices you can do are just amplified 1,000% when you're a celebrity, especially one that like makes a fuck ton of money. But when it comes back to children, there's been the issue forever of like how to deal with, trying to protect children from being exploited, from being abused, from being damaged to, pretty much like ruining their lives. I mean, you look at pretty much any Disney, Nickelodeon, any like child star from the 80s, 90s, about a solid 90% of them have not turned out pretty well. I mean, yeah, you get your occasional one or two or like a handful that make it out okay. But funny enough, really, a lot of the kid actors and like child celebrities, a lot of the ones that end up okay are the ones that either A, left Hollywood or like just kind of went off the radar. Like they didn't actually continue being celebrities. Like, they had like a show or something and they went on to do their own thing. A good example is I forgot his name, the kid that was in Malcolm in the Middle. Like once that show ended, he pretty much quit acting and now he's a teacher. He's like in his mid 30s. He's a teacher. He actually got offered to come back to the show by Bryan Cranston. And he was like, yeah, appreciate it, but I haven't acted since I was a kid. I have a career. So now he's moved on. So it seems like most of the kids that are child celebrities that like are okay and like kind of grow up to be functioning normal adults are the ones that kind of just like left Hollywood in general. But, I was thinking like, because I've thought about like what could really be done, especially nowadays. Like, because there are so many things that people like recommend as far as like, laws and things in place. Like, and one thing people say is like, well, have parents. Like one issue with Hollywood and children is like, well, parents are just like too lenient when it comes to their kids. Like they're too willing to trust their kids with random strangers. They're too willing to let their kid just be be pretty much under the guardianship of people that they don't know who they don't know who these people are, their background, and leaving like a kid, especially one that's really young, with like a bunch of fucking adults in Hollywood. Not a good mix. And so a lot of people say like, well, one thing you can do to like help children be protected in Hollywood and protect them on sets is having their parents there, which yeah, that could help. But like at the same time, this is kind of the fuck problem with child celebrities. Like no matter what angle you look at it from, child stars get fucked from every physically and literally. They get fucked from every angle. Like they get fucked on the end of a lot of times their parents are the ones that end up screwing them a lot more than the fucking companies and the fucking executives because how many stories have we heard of like child stars having like pretty much their entire savings, like their whole lives, that they have been exploited and worked to fucking death, and when they get of age to actually have the money that is due to them, their parents have actually used it all. Like, Janet McCurdy, the actress that was on iCarly, she's been pretty vocal about like how her mom like took a lot, pretty much most, if not all of her money that she was owed from all the years that she had been working, because she had been working as a child star for a long time. And when she was actually of age to be able to get that money, wasn't there because her mom took it. Yeah, and we've heard this from countless celebrities. I mean, the Olsen twins, they had a whole falling out about like trying to get the money that they were owed when they were of age. And even like Macaulay Culkin, he had an issue of like trying to get money he was owed. So like trying to say like, well, having more parental involvement, I mean, yeah, that would help for some people, but like the thing is, and I don't want to generalize, but it really seems like by and large, the parents that like push their kids and like really kind of get their kids into Hollywood, especially like when they're super young. Like I'm talking 4 or 5 or even newborns. Like it's one thing if you're a kid that like you're 8 or 7, when you tell your parents you want to be an actor, like that's one thing. Like, yeah, you're still not mature enough and like, able to really make your own decisions or fully comprehend what it means to be a celebrity. But at least it's kind of your own decision. But like a lot of times you'll see parents like they get their kids into entertainment in Hollywood, like fucking from newborns to toddlers. And like it's more of them projecting what they want and knowing like how much money they can make off their kid than is the kid actually wanting to be in Hollywood. I mean, how many times have we heard of like kids like just kind of being in Hollywood and being celebrities, not really because they wanted to. It just is like they happened, like that was just their life. Like they didn't have a say in what they were doing. This is what their life was, and they just had to fucking deal with it. And that was it. And they didn't even get to get the benefits of being a celebrity because they had all the negative aspects of like being worked to death, being exploited, having to have an insane schedule while also trying to like be in school. They had to deal with all the actual like stressful shit. And then when they actually came time to get the money, their parents are the one actually getting all the money, and their parents have to do fucking anything. All they have to do is just sign some contracts and shake some hands and pose for some photos. So like most of the time, the parents that like are with their kids in Hollywood are like trying to advocate to get their kids into Hollywood. 9 times out of 10, the parents don't really have the best intentions. Like most of the time, the parents are in it for themselves, or they have an ulterior motive where they're using their kids as pretty much like a fucking money pot to like make money and like benefit themselves. And like whatever happens to the kid, that's their fucking problem. Turn a blind eye. Even if requires some, less than morally on the right side of things to happen, well, if it gets us that check, well, yeah, we'll let some stuff slide. So, like, the parents of a lot of child celebrities don't really have their best interests in mind. And then you could say, like, well, you could have like a third party, like some type of like a guardianship, like someone on set that's like not like part of the company, part of the corporation, part of production. And I mean, yeah, like that could help. But like again, like I just feel like being in Hollywood, whether you're a kid or not, but especially if you're a kid, because like when you're a kid, you're at a lot of disadvantages that an adult isn't. Like when you're a kid, you don't have control over your schedule, you don't have control over your demands, you don't have control over anything. So whatever people tell you to do, that's what you do, and you're not really developed mentally enough to like really be able to understand and comprehend what you're being told to do or what you're being manipulated into doing. So from your point of view, you just think that this is good for you. So you don't really have the mental capacity to like actually be able to realize like I'm getting screwed over, or this isn't right. This isn't something I should be doing, or you're not doing what you should be. Like you're not doing right by me. They don't have that. So children, they're just at like such a massive disadvantage. Like even if you have like someone that's like a third party handler or someone just there to like oversee to make sure the kids are being safe, I feel like still that wouldn't work because at some point, like just being in that system, I mean, just really on a psychological level, I mean, I think it just, I mean, because we see this with even adults, like being that famous and that rich. I mean, whether you're an adult, it fucks you up, but being a kid, it fucks you up a whole lot worse. And we've seen the final result of like how a lot of kids end up that were like mega celebrities as kids. Most of them, 9 times out of 10, end up as fucking damaged adults. I mean, people forget about it, but like Michael Jackson, he was a child. I mean, he wasn't like an actor, but he started out as a child star, part of Jackson 5. And we know how his, adulthood was. I mean, he had a fucking just chaotic, adulthood and a tragic fucking end. So like it just like I feel like just no matter how you look at, no matter any solution I've come up with, as far as like how could you try to protect children, like because I mean you're never going to be able to fully protect children from being exploited and being abused and just like all the horrible all the horrible components of being in Hollywood. It's part of Hollywood, for better or worse. For worse, actually, you can't stop that. Like it's like trying to fucking stop like drug use and fucking alcohol and just like sexual crimes in Hollywood. You can try to get rid of a lot of it, but realistically, you probably won't. But this kind of led me to thinking, and I know that this is something that's been pretty a big point of contention. I mean, they had the whole strike last year about this, about AI in video games and AI being used for voice acting. And I mean, what I'm kind of wondering is not something that you could probably do for a while. And I know that a lot of people probably wouldn't be on board with it, but I think, and I'm not even saying I'm fully supportive of this, but this is just an idea I was thinking of. Would it not be at some point in the future when this is somehow plausible, you got to mean possible, at some point when this is actually a potential actual thing you can do, because right now I don't think this is possible, would it not be for the best if we somehow just got rid of the entirety, like the entire thing of a child star, and you replace it with AI children, with like AI children actors? And I know people, I get, and I know what a lot of people's response is, like, the instant, backlash, the instant rejection of like, absolutely not. But I mean, like, honestly, like, there are some negatives. I mean, there are some negatives. There's some fucking major, there's a lot of catch 22s with this idea that I see the major issues with this, but I also see some positives. I mean, yeah, the one argument you could say is like, well, it completely eradicates an entire industry for children. But then, like, it begs the question, like, I mean, is this an industry? Is this like a field children should really be in? I mean, like, it seems like by and large, we've had 100 plus years of looking at the results. I think it's fair to say, and I think most people agree, the end result of most child stars is not good. Most of the end result is not a good result. I mean, yeah, you can point to some successes and you can point to some people that are functioning, healthy, mentally stable adults. You compare them to the people that are fucked up or just dead, it's a fucking cosmic difference. You compare the amount of fucked up, mentally deranged, and fucking just unhinged child stars that are either, not functioning adults, in jail, dead, addicts, or, a mix of all of them. It's a very one-sided deal, I would say. You can find a whole lot more of abundance of either dead child stars or child stars that are, addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, just very poorly functioning adults, and in some cases, fucking dangerous adults to society. And so, like, I mean, if we do get to the point where we can have a point where child stars are not a thing, like, you don't need children actors, would it not be like a positive? I mean, I'm not saying I'm fully in support of this idea, but like, I think it is like something to consider. Like, I mean, you look at how much child stars are exploited, and like how fame and fortune and that much money as a kid, it fucks you up. It does. I mean, even a lot of child stars have come out and said when they're adults, like, yeah, having that type of fame and that type of fortune, that type of paparazzi, the media spectacle, you're in front of cameras all the time, you have millions of fans, people all around the world know you and love you. That does fucking mess with you. Like, I mean, I mean, you see what it does to adults who have. I mean, if adults can't fucking handle this shit, certainly kids can't handle it. I mean, even if you're mature for your age as a kid, that still messes you up. Like, it just is not something. I would argue it's not something that people, no matter who you are, it's not something. I would argue we're really made to be able to deal with. Like, it's too much for a person to handle and like come out a fully functioning person and mentally sound. I just don't think that's fully possible. And so I think if you look at the net positives of it, I mean, if you get to the point where like you just get rid of the concept of a child star and you have AI kids, like AI child actors, I think that might be a good solution. Like, I mean, it might be for the best for kids. I mean, you argue like, well, it gets rid of kids being in, in acting, and it gets rid of something that kids want to do. I mean, you could argue like, well, they can do it when they're an adult. Like when you're 18 years old, if you want to be an actor, if like, at the time that you're a consenting adult, that you can make your own decisions, you are mature enough to actually know what you want to do. If you still want to be an actor, You can pursue being an actor. You can train from, being a kid, a toddler, a kid, a preteen, a teenager, an adult. And once you become 18, you can become an actual, an adult star, and you can pursue that. And then you're independent. You're mature enough to where, I mean, it's not to say you're going to end up being a normal functioning adult if you become famous. You probably won't, but it won't fuck you up generally as much as it would if you started out being a child star at like age 6 or a fucking toddler. I think you might end up in a better place becoming a celebrity and a megastar as an adult than you would as a kid. I think like there's a better difference. There's a better likelihood, and there's a big difference in like you becoming a star, like a big megastar with wealth, money, and fame, and universal admiration as an adult when you're you understand that you are more mentally mature enough to be able to handle that and be able to take your own career in your own hands. Like you can actually, make your own decisions. You can make your own contracts. You can make your own deals. You have a little bit better of an idea of like making sure like people are not fucking you over, making sure that people are not exploiting you, making sure people are not giving you a bad deal, making sure you're not being worked to fucking death and not getting paid, making sure that you're getting the best deals. Like you're able to do that, and you don't also have to worry about a parent or a third party fucking you over and not giving what you're supposed to, or not having your best interests in hand, and you can actually make your own deals. Like I think that might be a good path. Like I mean, I know. So yeah, and here's the major downside. The major downside is it's kind of a slippery slope, because if you argue, well, like if we do get to the point where we can somehow actually have like a realistic AI actor, kid actor, and you don't need kid actors anymore. Naturally, it leads into the question of, well, what's stopping AI from just having fucking people? Like, I mean, if you can make an AI kid as like a real person and use them and you don't need kid actors, I mean, there's really no reason to say you don't need adult actors. And I'm gonna be honest, yeah, that's kind of a fucking problem. I can't say that there really is much of a counter to that. I mean, we even see now how people have sold their likeness to be able to have like AI versions of themselves to where like they get paid a lump sum, but then like a clone or like a replica of them using AI is used for marketing, used for commercials. Like I think it was for SAG, but there was like some they cast like background actors. There was some company that was like wanting background actors to sign a waiver that gave that company consent to like replicate them as an extra. They wouldn't get paid for it, but they'd get paid like a upfront lump sum. But then they would still like for life be able to like use your likeness and use you as a background character. So like we've seen this kind of happen already, of like companies and studios like trying to use AI to like either like take people like where like they can use you without having to like keep paying you and like having to get your permission, or just like straight up trying to like make AI voiceovers. Because that was a big thing with the strike, is some companies and other countries were like trying to make like fully AI voice actors and voice actresses. And, obviously that's a bad thing, because like that is just pretty much one step from being like, well, if we can make fully realistic AI voices, we really don't need voice actors. So like that just completely annihilates an entire industry, and that causes a whole, job market to be fucking permanently lost. So like I understand the major issues with that. Like I get that there are some pretty major implications of being able to make a fully realistic, fully functioning AI child actor, because yeah, I mean, you look at the positives. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be good for children. I mean, it would be unfortunate for kids that do want to do acting. Like I know that's another problem, is like there are kids who that is their passion. Like, some kids when they're young, they know they want to be, in business, they want to be a doctor, they want to be an athlete, where it is. Like there are kids out there, like, even though they're young, they do know exactly what they want to do. Like, I want to do this when I grow up. And there are kids, like I mean, there's even adults now, like Leonardo DiCaprio. He was a child star. Like there are a lot of kid actors that like that's their dream, that's their passion, that's what they want to do, that's what they want to be as a career. And I mean, again, like I know, like assuming like this just stays strictly to like AI, like having AI for like child actors, and that's it. They could still do that, but like they just have to wait till they were 18, which I mean, that's not that long. I mean, you're talking about 18 years. Like that's it's not like you're talking about like waiting until you're like nearly 30, like a doctor. Like you could still do that, but you just have to wait till you're an adult. Like you could still, like I mean, I don't know. There shouldn't be any reason. Like even if you got to the point where, like you could have like AI kid actors, there shouldn't be no reason like you couldn't take classes, you couldn't take courses to be able to like train and like actually get the experience necessary to like actually become like become an actor without having to be a child star. But, I don't know, because like I think about this and like on the one hand, it sounds. I mean, it is. It's a fucking bizarre Black Mirror dystopian just idea of like just replacing child actors with AI child actors that can just be any be any type of character. They can be used for any type of movie. You can make any type of voice. It is a fucking dystopian type of solution, but I think if you're looking at this purely from like trying to protect children from being exploited and being abused and just ended up being fucking just destroyed in Hollywood, if you're looking at it purely from that aspect, I think this is a good concept. The implications of it are fucking disastrous, and it could cause and it would cause a lot of rippling disaster ramifications. Which I mean, this type of idea, if it ever does become real, which I think it probably will, I think at some point we probably will get fully. I mean, because we already have it now. Like there are like almost fully AI generated actors. Like you look at some videos that are made from like VO3 or like Midjourney. You look at some videos now, and like I'm gonna be honest, like I'll look at some videos and I can't tell if it's AI or if it's like real. Like I'll look at it like multiple times, and I'm like, is that like a real person or is that AI? Like it's like one of the things that AI used to not be able to do well is like the fingers. Like they would fuck up the fingers. But like now AI has like pretty much perfectly fixed that problem. Or like now the fingers look good. Like they look nearly flawless. Like it's nearly hard. It's nearly impossible to distinguish sometimes from like a full like realistic person and like an AI. So we're already getting to the point where like AI is like almost nearly indistinguishable from people. So like if you can do that digitally, like if you could just somehow like through some type of like I don't know, like I mean this sounds like something out of Star Wars, but it's not that far fetched. Like a holographic type of technology, or like somehow like some type of 3D virtual projection technology to be able to have like a fully functioning 3D character in a space of real people. This isn't something that's too far off. I mean, there was a controversy. There was a few stories about this, about how there's like AI influencers, like they're purely AI influencers that are fully CG, fully AI generated. Like there's no voice actor. It's just a pure AI influencer. Like we're even seeing like AI models pop up now. So like the idea of just being like a far fetched like dystopian sci-fi concept, it's not that really out there. Like this is something that could happen. And I mean I don't know, like I think like just looking at it from like just like the welfare of children and like trying to protect children. As far as I can see, and other people might have a better solution to this. And they would. I know there's a lot of people that would strongly disagree with this type of idea. But like as far as I can see, I see this as a good solution, at least just from like protecting children from the Hollywood system. Because I don't think, and this is my personal opinion, I don't think you can really protect children no matter what you do. I've not been able to come up with a solution that could like actually at least even like 80% protect children from Hollywood. I don't know. I don't think it's possible because like no matter what angle you look at it from, kids get fucked from the business side, from the directors, producers, from their family, their parent. I mean, it's just like there's no angle where like they have some type of refuge and safe haven. Like I mean, they might have like a good co-star, like an adult star, like co-star that might be able to look out for them, but I mean, that's temporary. Like, that's like one production. You might be able to like be okay on that set, but that doesn't protect you from the Hollywood system. That doesn't protect you from, you know, the producers, like the high ups in Hollywood. It doesn't even protect you from your family. Like co-star, like an adult co-star can't help you, be protected from your family fucking you over from what you're owed and like fucking you over, like working you to death. They can't do much about that. So like I can't really see any solution where like you can protect kids really even like 50%. Like I mean, yeah, you can put measures in place, you can put laws in place, but I mean, in Hollywood, I mean honestly, like what do laws really mean by and large in Hollywood? I mean, yeah, like we've seen the fall, like Harvey Weinstein, he's been taken down. We've seen people like Diddy and R. Kelly, but like, let's be honest, to think that like there are no more Harvey Weinsteins or Jeffrey Epsteins or R. Kellys or Diddy's or any of these fucking monsters out there, to think that like that's all gone from Hollywood is fucking naive. There are plenty more Weinsteins, there's plenty more Jeffrey Epsteins, there's plenty more R. Kellys and Diddy's out there from the past and now, and there will be in the future. And I don't know what you can do to protect from. I mean, yeah, you can take them down after they have fucking caused all the damage. Well, yeah, then they can get taken down. But like that doesn't help the children that they have fucking just destroyed along the way and like have been doing this for decades so they finally get taken down. Like, yeah, I mean, the bad guy loses, but like after they have fucking won for fucking 30 years, like I don't see that as a net positive like other people do. Like, yeah, it's good they got taken down, but like look at how fucking long it took and how many fucking people suffered because of it. So like I just don't think that there is any other way of like protecting children from Hollywood except for like not having them in Hollywood. Like cuz that way there is not even the possibility for them to be exploited. There's not the possibility of them being abused and being damaged at all. Like this is the only way I can see from fully protecting kids from being in Hollywood. Like is that's the only way is like not having them in Hollywood. And I know that, a lot of people are fully against having AI in media, having AI in any industry. And I get that, but like, at least just purely from like the welfare of children in general, just like children in general, I think that this is at least one of the best options. It's not the best. The implications of it are fucking disastrous, but I think it would be if it was implemented like how I would see it working, where you just completely get rid of the child star and you replace it with an AI child star. I think that's the best way you could protect kids from being in Hollywood. But not much else to say really. These are just my rambling thoughts on the matter. And with that said, I think I'm gonna call it a day here, and I will see you good people later.